All right. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Hello, everyone. Okay. Um, Courtroom 2 appears to be ready. And let me see. Ms. Champion, what's our reset date? Is it still going to be July 3rd?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Judge Lal, and we are going to begin with our misdemeanor first appearance calendar with the State Court of Fulton County for today, June 21st, 2025. These are cases in which individuals were recently arrested and booked at the Fulton County Jail. Soon after being booked in, their cases have now been formally accused by the prosecutor's office. When I address your case on a one-on-one basis, please remember you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. I will let you know when your case is called. I will let you know what is your new case number, what are the charges brought against you, to appoint counsel for you where required, and also to set a bond. The type of bond you receive will depend on the nature of the charges, the underlying circumstances, as well as the nature of your criminal record history, if any. We will then proceed to determine whether you will obtain either a signature bond, in which you would not have to pay for the bond at the present time, but you will have to comply with certain conditions. Otherwise, you may qualify for what we call a surety bond or a cash bond. In either event, some of you may also get a new court date of July 3rd. It will be at 9 a.m., and that will also be a Zoom proceeding. If you plan to attend, any of the witnesses and so forth plan to attend, please make sure you get the Zoom link. All right, this is a message for those who are not attorneys, who are either family members or friends or alleged victims. If you're appearing at this Zoom, make sure your correct name is on the Zoom screen. Also, switch off your video, and mute your screen. You can unmute and start your video when we are addressing your specific case. Thank you. Courtroom 2, who shall we begin with?
Position number 5, Ms. Collins.
Thank you. This is Tiffany Collins, accused of battery, family violence from June 20th, 2025. Ms. Collins, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Bianca Thomas. And Collins has got, if I'm not mistaken, 16 arrest cycles with a 2010 battery conviction, a 2003 simple battery conviction. And I'm not sure what's the status of a shoplifting case from 2019. Mr. Ham, what's the recommendation for Ms. Collins?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Yes,
State's recommendation on the battery family violence is a $1,500 good bond, no further violent contact with Mario Burdett, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol on her person. She also has several FTAs as a part of her cycle, Your Honor. So based upon that, the allegations of this particular facts is that she was outside on the balcony and she became aggressive once the victim allowed her back inside the home. Witnesses observed the altercation, and the witnesses indicated that she was yelling cuss words at them. And then once he opened the balcony door, Ms. Collins, the defendant, charged at him and grabbed the victim by his neck. So based upon the allegations, her cycles, we're asking for the recommendation previously stated.
All right. Mario Burdett, if you are on Zoom and you want to say something, this is the time to unmute and start your video. I see a Mario on Zoom. Yes, no? All right, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Tiffany Collins is 42 years of age, a lifelong Georgia resident. She is a mother of 8 children. She does share 5 of those children with Mr. Mario Burdett. She expresses that they've been in a on and off relationship. They do presently reside together with their young children. and that the kids go to school from that location as well. She does still have personal belongings. She actually expressed that she lost her personal home about a month ago, so she had been living with Mr. Burdett. Right now, she doesn't have full-time employment. She does do some hair on the side, so she has a little bit of income. She did express that she may be able to get some assistance making bond, but we would be asking for a reasonable bond just to be set, Your Honor, if she's ineligible for the signature bond.
Bond is set at 1,000. It is a surety bond. No further contact with Mario Burdett and to stay away from 138 Lamar Avenue in the entire complex in Atlanta, Georgia. She's allowed to go back there one time only with a police officer to retrieve her belongings and or to retrieve her children. If there's been no legitimation between the two, then Mr. Burdett can file a legitimation action to get joint visitation and custody. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Her next court date is going to be July 3rd. Mr. Mario, you finally came online. Did you want to say something? Mr. Burdett? All right, he seems to be sleeping. All right, next case.
Thank you.
Your Honor, before we go forward, there's a Mr. Casper Hartfelt. He's not on the calendar. I'm trying to figure out why.
Could you give us the name again, please?
Casper Hartfelt.
Your Honor, we NOD'd that charge, that case.
All right. Deputy, this case is not holding him.
Number 15 is Washington.
Thank you. Ooh, new screens. Okay, 15. This is Devon Washington, accused of battery family violence from June 20th of this year, case 25 CR 0034468. Ms. Washington, you've been advised of your rights and your attorney is Ms. Correa. Oh, hang on. Let me see if I have that. Ms. Washington, I have third arrest, 2013 fleeing an officer, and a 2011 assault battery that was dismissed. Mr. Scirocco, do you have a recommendation?
Yes, Judge. So this took place this was yesterday, June 20th. Law enforcement was dispatched to 2275 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard in Atlanta in reference to a violent incident involving weapons. Upon arrival, the officer made contact with the parties, Mr. Chaz Cobb and the defendant here. Both individuals had visible injuries. Mr. Cobb sustained 2 lacerations with blood on his forearm, and the defendant had some bruising about her body. The defendant stated she was following the victim, who's the father of her child, to the cemetery, believing he'd recently been at her home. There's an issue with ongoing custody between them. Mr. Cobb stated that he had traveled to the cemetery, and upon his arrival, the defendant pulled up behind him. This is important. He was driving a red Cybertruck with a camera. He exited her vehicle and aggressively approached him while yelling. He explained that the defendant initiated physical contact, and in response, he pushed her away multiple times to create distance before she grabbed a bronze vase from a nearby gravesite and threw it at him. At which point he had retrieved his firearm and warned her to back away. The officer observed the video footage here from the Tesla in question and his cell phone, and it showed the defendant initiating the physical altercation and knocking the phone out of Mr. Cobb's hand and then throwing the bronze vase at him. Also confirmed that he did not have his injuries prior to this incident, but did sustain them subsequently. They were clear on the camera after. So that is how primary aggressor was determined here. We have spoken with the victim here. She confirmed that they are not in a relationship. They don't live together, and they're currently going through the courts with respect to the child. He confirmed the events in the warrant and explained he wants no contact with the defendant and has filed for a TPO. He wants the defendant to stay away from his residence at 120 Redfield Trace in Fayetteville. And I don't believe he's on the Zoom. We would ask the court sound for him. Given this is not her first family violence case, even though that one was dismissed, the state's asking for a $2,000 surety for a complete FIB. Have no further contact with Chaz Cobb. Stay away from the previously mentioned victim's residence and from Lincoln Cemetery where this took place.
Lincoln Cemetery, okay.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, Chaz Cobb, if you're on Zoom, we would greatly love to hear from you. Please unmute and start your video. Chaz Cobb. Miss Correa, a Cybertruck, a bronze vase, and the Lincoln Cemetery. It sounds like a movie plot in the making, but
it does, and it sounds like the Cybertruck could do its own filming of it. But as far as it goes
the
to
bond's going to be set at 3,500 signature bond through pretrial services. If you can just let me know whether your client child or children with Mr. Cobb is out of wedlock and he hasn't legitimated, or are they married, or what's the 411 on this relationship?
I am not clear as to the legal relationship between Miss Washington and Mr. Cobb, but I do understand that they have children together. She does have her own residence where she lives with the children, so a stay away from Mr. Cobb is possible. We would just ask that any custody and parenting decisions, if custody needs to be transferred, if that could be done through a third party, and any communications related to custody of this children, if that could, if contact could be limited to that. Ms. Washington is gainfully employed. She works for an insurance agency selling pretty much property insurance, renters insurance, homeowners insurance. So I understand that Your Honor has already made a decision regarding to bond, but on her behalf, given that her last arrest was over a decade ago, we would be asking for a UJR.
It's a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial services. Level 1, she will report to pretrial once a month. She will enroll in a family violence intervention program within 30 days of being released and complete all the classes at her expense and provide the certificate of completion to pretrial once done. No further contact with Chaz Cobb, and stay away from his residence or wherever he's physically located, including work, the supermarket, and so forth. I'm not sure about the Lincoln Cemetery. I'm going to let her go back there if she's going to, visit someone's grave, but she's not to have any kind of violent or disorderly conduct while at the Lincoln Cemetery. I don't think I've ever ordered that before, but this would be a first for me. Also, I'll allow for third-party transfer of the children that she shares with Mr. Cobb, as long as is in accordance with any court order, whether it's from a divorce proceeding, a legitimation proceeding, or any kind of court order, which outlines their parenting plan, joint visitation, or joint custody issues. So it has third-party visitation with the kids in accordance with any present court order. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next is position number 19, Mr. Wicks.
19, okay. Justin Witt is accused of simple battery family violence from September 6, 2023. Mr. Witt, you've been advised of your rights. Your case number is 25 CR 3461B, and your attorney is Ms. Correa. With regards to Mr. Witt, this is his 9th arrest. His last time was for theft by shoplifting in 2019, driving without a valid license. Was there a conviction from that, Mr. Howard?
Not that I know. I didn't see any violent arrests in his history, though.
Okay, he had a couple of disorderly conducts, but those
Correct.
were much older.
Convictions.
That driving without a valid license, that was a NOLO.
Okay, all right.
Um,
And what do you recommend, Mr. Scirocco?
So Judge, this took place September 6th, 2023. So this is a delayed arrest. Law enforcement responded to 892 Spencer Street in Atlanta, and upon arrival spoke with the reporting party and victim here, Jesse Green, who explained that the defendant, his housemate, and he had gotten into a dispute. The officer had come out earlier due to a verbal dispute that the defendant had started, but when the officer arrived, the defendant was gone. There were threats alleged, according to Mr. Green, and the defendant ultimately came back, and during that, and got into another altercation during which the defendant spat in Mr. Green's face. There's a video of this happening, and that was okay. And that's all here. A warrant was issued for the defendant's arrest. He does have some disorderly conduct convictions from 3 years in a row, from 2018 to 2016.
Have you all been able to get in touch with Mr. Green?
We have not at this point. We'll continue those efforts, Judge.
Okay. If you please hold, Mr. Scirocco, this is going to be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. I'll allow him to do telephonic reporting, no contact with Jesse Green, no illegal drugs, and no firearms. Next court date will be sent to his current mailing address. So, Mr. Witt, this is still an open pending case against you. We will need your current address once you're released. So make sure you make efforts to contact the clerk's office and let us know your new mailing address. I'm giving you a signature bond, telephonic reporting. All you're required to do is not get arrested, stay away from Jesse Green, and make sure you come to court.
Judge, we had essentially the same recommendation with the exception of we were recommending FIB as well and a stay away from 892. Did you order the stay away or no?
I didn't order stay away because I have no indication that he still lives with Mr. Green. So if he has to stay away from Mr. Green and they still occupy the same rooming house, that's going to be a problem.
Mr. Witt no longer lives there and he has no contact with Jesse Green.
I think we're
I also don't think
right spot. No, I'm not doing an FBIT. I'm not doing an FBIT.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Good luck.
Number 7, D'Angelo Hines.
And Mr. Howard, with Mr. Witt, that was telephonic reporting. So I don't know.
I heard you.
Okay. D'Angelo Hines is accused of criminal trespass from June 12th of this year, case number 25 CR 3453B. And Mr. Hines, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Miss Bianca Thomas. And with regards to Mr. Hines, 39 arrest cycles. Oh my goodness. Okay.
You lost. What? He got a 2018 obstruction, disorderly conduct, terrorist threats. That was dismissed. 2013 simple assault. 11 obstruction, terrorist threats conviction.
Any FTAs?
Not that I saw.
Okay.
In recent history, anyway.
All right. Mr. Ham, what's the recommendation?
State's recommendation, Your Honor, is a $750 good bond due to his cycles and to stay away from all Georgia State University campus buildings and facilities. He was already previously given a criminal trespass and warned not to return to the area, in which he did return to the area of 34 Broad Street, University Commerce Building. And so in lieu of the fact that he's not adhering to his obligations not to return, we're asking for a $750 good bond.
All right. Ms. Thomas, does your client have $75 to pay for his bond?
He does not, Your Honor, but however, I would be asking for a signature bond given that Mr. Hines had been in custody for the past 7-8 days. He was arrested on the 12th, and then he was transported over here on, I believe, on yesterday, Your Honor. Mr. Hines is 54 years of age, lifelong Georgia resident. He does have some family here in the state. He does frequent a church. I forgot the name, but he does receive mail. He does receive assistance through a church program. He does have a brother that checks on his well-being from time to time as well.
Where is his church?
What was the shelter or church name again, Mr. Hines?
Sister Terry Church up there by State Capitol. Yeah.
Is it anywhere on Georgia State property?
Yeah, it's not upstate, it's up there like before you pass. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
It's the Presbyterian Church on Central Avenue behind the courthouse.
Yes, ma'am, ain't me no harm. Yeah. Yeah, it's up that way.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, right across from the state capitol, man.
Mr. Hines, okay, you can stick around the church, you can stick around the Capitol, you definitely can stick around the courthouse when you have to come back to court,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you cannot be on any Georgia State University property. Your bond's $1,000 signature bond through the jail.
all
And your
right.
only requirement is to stay away from Georgia State University. If you want to come back to jail, make sure you bring $75 with you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up with your notices and come back to jail.
Thank you, ma'am.
Number
Come
14.
back to court, not to jail, sorry. Sorry
Yeah,
about that. Okay. Sorry, Deputy, what's that case number?
Number 14, Mulder.
Warren Mulder is accused of giving false information to an officer from January 1st of 2025, case 25 CR 3457A. Mr. Mulder, this is his seventh adult arrest, and looks like he's got an open case in Cobb County for theft by shoplifting, an open burglary case, first degree, as well as financial transaction card theft, battery and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer, case number 24 SC 004948. And this was from January 1st. Mr. Scirocco, any particular reason we should do a surety bond?
Yes, Judge. So he actually failed to appear on that that burglary case, the 24 SC 004948. That was last November. He failed to appear, and he was arrested also for failure to appear. Not sure if that is the same case or a different one, but it was open at least as of yesterday. Or excuse me, several days ago. I think it was the 18th. So that would be the reason for the $1,000 surety that the state is asking for. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while on bond.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Correa?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Mulder actually turned himself in for this arrest. He turned himself into one of Fulton County's smaller jurisdictions. I can't remember if it was Union City or East Point, but one of the southern jails. And then he was transferred here. I would be asking for a UJR. Mr. Mulder has found gainful employment. I think that might have been an issue stemming from prior cases, but he is currently employed working at the Amazon warehouse off Moreland Avenue. He has worked it out with his boss that he to return back. So on his behalf, I would request that he be given that signature bond so he can get back to work.
Is that Marietta Place a good address?
Yes, that's where his aunt lives.
Okay. It's going to be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. I see that the burglary case was DWOPed by the DA's office, so this seems to be the only case that's holding him. Okay.
I have it as it's on judicial hold. I didn't see a DWOP.
Yeah, it's on judicial hold.
Is it Warren Mulder?
Yeah, I saw that too, but I did see it was judicial hold. Let me see.
All right. Then that's not what's showing up on Odyssey, but I'll let the jail decide that. But he's got $1,000 signature bond for pretrial. Once he reports, he'll need to report to pretrial and speak to his PD and his felony case to see whether he can be released. Thank you. Isn't that the oddest thing? I don't see the whole button.
Yeah, you got to go in the cases tab and
okay.
click on it where it says order for judicial hold is November 26, 2024.
2024. Okay, got it. Thank you. And who do we have next? Deputy? You're on mute?
Number 1, Mr. Brown. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Jimmy Akil Deontay Brown is accused of reckless conduct, willful obstruction, and criminal trespass from June 19th of this year. Accusation 25 CR 3443J. Mr. Brown, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your counsel is going to be Ms. Thomas. Mr. Brown's first arrest. And how would we like to proceed, Mr. Ham?
State's actually requesting a signature bond on all 3 counts, 1,000 on the reckless, 500 on the obstruction, and then 500 on the criminal trespass. He set off fireworks inside of the Georgia State Martyrs location, fled from the police, and went onto the tracks on a restricted area, Your Honor.
What time of the day was this?
It was approximately 10:32
a.m.?
at night.
Okay. Okay. Ms. Thomas, on count one, that's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. Count two is 500, count three is 500. This is a 4,000 signature bond through pretrial services. I'd like to make it a level 2 and keep him busy with us. So he'll report to pretrial services twice a month. He's to stay away from all modern property until further order of the court. He's not allowed to use any modern trains, any modern buses. He cannot be at modern restricted areas or the unrestricted areas. And he cannot use any of the amenities at MARTA, including their parking lots, their bathrooms, or anything else at the station. Once this case is resolved, then perhaps he'll be allowed to resume using MARTA. But until then, he's not allowed any MARTA property.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, courtroom 2, please unmute. Mr. Brown, if you are seen at any MARTA property and you are arrested, please make sure that you bring $4,000 back to the jail from that subsequent arrest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 8, Jackson.
Julian Jackson is accused of simple assault family violence from June 19th of this year, accusation 25 CR 3454J. And this is Mr. Jackson's 6th arrest cycle. He's on probation for armed robbery, 15 SC 137396. Okay, well, he's got an open case for battery,
You're on
25
probation for battery, correct?
Oh, probation. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Howard.
You're on probation for battery as of May 25 CR 002174J. May 8th, somebody gave him, I'm not sure if it was you or somebody else. They gave him 12 months probation. 2023 probation, 2014 criminal attempt to commit a felony first offender. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ham?
Yes, Your Honor. Just so you're aware that battery that he's currently on probation involves the same victim of this case that's presently before you, Mr. Fallon Bellamy, who is present on Zoom.
Okay.
Part of the probation was that he's to stay away from the incident location of 1160 Hammond Drive, Sandy Springs, which is the same incident location that's presently before your Honor. In this case, Your Honor, the defendant is alleged of throwing items, which I believe was Tupperware, at the Mr. Bellamy. It hit him, and then he picked up another one and threw it at him again. And we're asking for a $1,500 surety bond, Your Honor. No further contact with Fallon Bellamy. Stay away from 1160 Hammond Drive, Sandy Springs, Georgia. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol on his person. And we also are going to be looking into revoking his probation, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. You may be familiar with Mr. Jackson, I'm not sure. But Mr. Jackson is 28 years of age, lifelong Georgia resident. He does have family here. He expressed to me he completed the 10th grade. Right now, he's currently unemployed. He stated that he's in the process of getting his ID. As it pertains to Mr. Bellamy, he did express that they had been in a relationship, significant others, and living together. However, we're not opposed to a stay away and no further contact. He did express he does have another residence he'll be able to go to. He does still have personal belongings still at the apartment. And so we are asking for a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve personal belongings.
Bond set at 2,000 is the surety bond. Stay away from 1160 Hammond Drive in Sandy Springs. And no further contact with Phelan Michael Bellamy. And no, I'm not going to allow him a one-time visit. He's already violated probation according to this warrant. So that's something that state can pursue. But presently, he's not allowed near the property. He's not allowed near the victim. And he'll need to update the court with his new address within 30 days of being released. if he makes bond. Otherwise, his next court date is going to be July 3rd.
Your Honor, would any, I don't know, maybe friend or family member be able to retrieve his personal belongings?
Who do we have in mind? Who is acceptable to Mr. Bellamy, of course.
Correct.
Phelan Bellamy, oh, you're in Zoom, perfect.
Yes,
Unmute
Mr.
and start your
Bellamy's.
video. Phelan Bellamy, this is your time to shine. Please unmute and start your video. If Mr. Bellamy can identify a person who can collect his belongings and deliver them to Mr. Jackson, that'll be great. But Mr. Bellamy is kind of non-responsive right now. So
And
Ms. Thomas, I'll allow a third party identified by the victim to go and retrieve the defendant's items. So Mr. Bellamy, if you know of such a person, please reach out to Bianca Thomas with the Fulton County Public Defender's Office and let her know who is acceptable to you to retrieve Mr. Jackson's property. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 13, Nate Field.
Deshaun Mayfield is accused of simple battery family violence from June 19th of 2025, and his case number is 25 CR 3460A. Mr. Mayfield, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Correa. Mr. Mayfield has 4 arrest cycles with an open case in Atlanta for driving while license suspended or revoked, and he's got a 2015 suspended license and misdemeanor marijuana. That was a NOLO plea. Mr. Ham, any recommendation?
State's recommendation is $1,000 signature bond. No further violent contact with Destina Owens, who is present on the Zoom. They have no drugs, weapons, or alcohol. This is an incident that happened at 709 Magnolia Street, where they argued over this son, providing food for the son. The defendant is accused of punching the victim in her shoulder, and she mushed him or pushed him in his face. So.
Okay.
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay. Bond is set at $1,000. A signature bond through pretrial services, level 1. No violent contact with Destiny Owens. He may return to the Magnolia Street, but he cannot have any physical or verbal altercations with Miss Destina Owens. Also, he would need to complete 2 anger awareness classes through pretrial and make sure that his address is current with the court at all times. Thank you.
And Your Honor, Destina Owens is online.
Okay. Ms. Owens, did you have an objection to the bond?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're free to go. Thank
What was
you.
that amount?
$1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Okay.
Your Honor, he wants to know, was it a stay away?
There's no stay away, but he cannot have any physical or verbal altercations. So in other words, whatever she says, that is the command. He cannot disagree with her at all. Yeah, such is life. Okay, next case.
Number 16, Watson.
Leonard Watson's accused of public drunk and criminal trespass from June 20th of 2025. Accusation 25 CR 3447G. Mr. Watson, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Correa. And with regards to Mr. Watson, I don't know how many cycles it's got, Mr. Howard.
20. Oh yeah. You know what? I don't either. I didn't write it down. 2024 trespass conviction. 2024 trespass public drunk obstruction conviction. 2023 battery conviction. 2022 trespass NOLO. 2019 pedestrian and roadway terrorist threats felony obstruction conviction. 2019 trespass conviction. 2018 terrorist threats conviction. 2018 public drunk disorderly conduct obstruction conviction. And he has a whole. I have to go back and pull the total.
Okay, thank you. That's all right. Mr. Scirocco, what's the recommendation?
Thank you, Judge. So this was a welfare check that MARTA was doing. The MARTA police was doing at 30 Alabama Street, Atlanta, the 5 Point station.
Mhm.
Approached the defendant. He was sleeping with items scattered around him, and they were trying to wake him up. He proceeded to become angry and disorderly, using profane language toward the officer. I won't go into all that. And when backup arrived, the defendant started to try to engage in a fight, continuing to hurl insults. It was determined that he had been given a 365-day MARTA suspension that was effective June 4th of this year. So he was in violation of that. And they found as well that he was also wanted out of Atlanta for failure to appear. And that, yeah, that FTA, I believe, is from this year. I'm not sure if that's his other hold. But you heard about the previous public drunk
Thank you.
cases, that conviction most recently from 2024 with the willful obstruction and the criminal trespass as well. So pretty similar, but given that and the FTA, Judge, we're asking for $1,000 total surety, $500 on each. Stay away from 30 Alabama Street, Atlanta. Social worker visit for BHET we think would be appropriate. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while on bond.
Ms. Correa?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Watson is 50 years old. The address reflected in Odyssey is a good address for him. That is where he resides with his mother. In addition to his mother, he also has his 33-year-old daughter and 2 grandchildren in the Metro Atlanta area to support him. He does work in the downtown central business district area. He works in janitorial services in the restaurants near in and around the underground complex. We would be asking for a UJR so that way he may go on to handle his hold.
Okay. On each count, it's going to be $50 cash. It's going to be $100 cash bond only. And he is to stay away from all MARTA property in accordance with his in accordance with his active suspension. Next court date is July 3rd. No alcoholic beverages, no illegal drugs. And I'm going to leave the social worker visit aside. Next court date is July 3rd.
Next position
Ms. Correa.
is number 2, Mr. Caldwell.
Tristan Caldwell is accused of willful obstruction and disorderly conduct from June 20th of this year. His case number is 25 CR 3444A. Mr. Caldwell, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Thomas. And with regards to Mr. Caldwell, this is his 12th arrest, and he's on probation in Rockdale County for simple battery, family violence, and obstruction of an officer. Looks like he's got also a probation. I'm not sure from which jurisdiction. Is that also in Rockdale County, Mr. Howard?
More than likely, because he's wanted out of Rockdale on probation.
All right.
He got more violent convictions too.
Well, we won't talk of anything beyond 2015, but looks like it's multiple probation violations from Rockdale. Does he have a Rockdale hold?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ham?
Yes, Your Honor, and it's a battery family violence conviction out of Rockdale County. That's
Okay.
the second probation.
And what's your
Yes.
recommendation for these 2 charges?
Yes, Your Honor, it's $750 good bond on each one to stay away from 1874 Piedmont Avenue, Atlanta, Georgia 30324. They have no further violent contact with his mother, Rosalind Williams. Also to have subject to random drug screening and alcohol. This incident happened on June 20th. The victims is the mother of the defendant. She reported that her son came to the workplace. He began to disrupt the workplace, and he blocked her in, yelling and screaming and preventing her from leaving to attend her dialysis appointment. She believed that he was under the influence of drugs at the time when he committed these offenses, Your Honor. So based upon that and these his previous convictions, we make the aforementioned recommendations.
All right. Ms. Rosalind Williams, are you on Zoom? Would you like to chime in? You need to unmute and start your video. All right, Ms. Thomas, any objection to the 1,500 surety bond?
Your Honor, Mr. Caldwell won't be able to make any bond. He did express to me he was previously working at the Wingstop, but was recently fired due to miswork. He also expressed that he does have some MH diagnosis and had been on medication. I'm not sure whether or not that contributed to this incident, Your Honor, but he won't be able to make that high bond amount. He was informed that he does have that Rockdale County hold, so if he's unable to be released to that hold, he would be given another court date.
All right. His bond is going to be 1,500. It's going to be a surety bond, 750 on each count. No further violent contact with Rosalind Williams. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. His next court date is July 3rd. If he does make bond, it would have to be released to any pending holds he has. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 6, Diaz.
Domingo Diaz Chavez is accused of 4 misdemeanor offenses, beginning with possession of low THC oil, possession and use of drug-related object, speeding, and driving under the influence of drugs. Mr. Diaz Chavez, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Correa. And with regards to Mr. Diaz, this is his second arrest. He's got an open pretrial case for reckless conduct and having a revolver on his person, 25 CR 001255C. What was the pretrial bond, Mr. Howard?
I want to say 9,000.
Yeah, I can confirm it was $9,000 signature bond from Judge Morrow.
All right, that would be surrendered. All right, let's move on to the new case. Mr. Scirocco, what is the recommendation?
So, Judge, this took place yesterday, June 20th. Law enforcement observed a speeding vehicle. It was going 54 and a 35 in Alpharetta, Deerfield Parkway at Webb Road. Traffic stop was conducted. Marijuana was smelt coming from the vehicle. Perfuming, I believe is the term used. After further investigation, defendant, who admitted to smoking marijuana an hour prior, was determined to be driving under the influence of drugs. And after a search of the vehicle, 2 vape pens with 2% THC labeled were found in the center console, and 2 scales with leafy green residue were found in the trunk. He was found, excuse me, those pens were not registered with the Department of Public Health. So this sort of behavior poses a risk to the safety of the public, pedestrians, other drivers, as does the behavior of the type in his open case. The state's, he was given as part of that, as you're well aware, no drugs, weapons, or alcohol, which he's in violation here, but I'm not sure if he was speeding home to meet his curfew, but I think it was actually closer to 8. But he has a curfew set with that previous case. I'm not sure if Your Honor wants to do anything with that. But the state's recommendation here is $3,500 total surety, $2,000 on the DUI, $500 for each of the remaining counts. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right, Ms. Correa?
Yes, Your Honor. We would be asking for a total bond not exceeding $2,000, given that he would now have to post a bond on his other case. Mr. Diaz is expecting his first child, and children are quite expensive. He is enrolled working on his obtaining his GED. He's doing that through night courses because during the day he works at Atlanta Moving Solutions. That is our request.
All right. On the possession of the low THC oil is going to be 2,500. Possession or use of drug-related object is going to be 500. The speeding is going to be 500. And the DUI, driving under the influence of drugs, that's going to be 5,000. So his total bond is, on this case, is going to be 575, 8,500. That's going to be a surety bond. No alcoholic beverages, no illegal drug substances, and no prescription drugs unless he has a valid prescription with him. No driving until further order of this court, State Court of Fulton County. So even if he gets a limited driving privilege by the administrative court, this particular bond order is going to preempt any administrative limited driving privilege. So he cannot drive. He cannot consume any alcohol. He cannot consume any illegal drugs or any prescription drugs unless he has a valid prescription. No weapons and firearms. And his next court date is going to be July 3rd. Let me see. He's got a $9,000 surety bond, so we're going to reset both cases to July 3rd if he's unable to make bond. And that's going to be for 25 CR 001255C. How old is Mr. Diaz? Is he under 21?
He is, Your Honor.
All right. So most likely, given the DUI under the influence of drugs, he's not even going to get a limited driving privilege from OSA. So good luck, Mr. Diaz.
Thank you.
Number 3, Carson.
Kendall Eugene Carson is accused of 2 counts of battery family violence and 1 count of simple battery family violence from the 20th of June this year, case 25 CR 3451F. Mr. Carson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Thomas. Mr. Carson has 6 arrest cycles. He's got an open case out of Clayton County for reckless conduct, discharging of a firearm on a public highway. Oh, I'm sorry, that case was dismissed through PTI, and he had a DUI from 2015. Anything else, Mr. Howard?
No.
Okay. Mr. Scirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This took place yesterday. Law enforcement was conducting a business check at the Walmart Supercenter, 6149 Old National Highway in South Fulton, when they were alerted to a fight involving a weapon on the north side of the store. Bystander advised there was a physical fight there and stated that the male had pulled out a firearm. Officers made contact with the defendant and his live-in girlfriend, the victim here, Tiffany Green. Observed that Miss Green was standing outside the vehicle holding her forehead area, which was covered in blood from the forehead down to her face, blood spatter on her shirt and legs. The defendant was ordered to exit the vehicle with, it was a tense situation. Guns were drawn by the officers here, and they ultimately confiscated his Taurus 9mm firearm that he had on his person. They observed that she had a laceration on the upper right corner of her forehead, and that there was also a pool of blood near the ground, and it looks like lots of bleeding here. She explained that the victim explained that the 2 had been drinking and decided to go to Walmart, got into a verbal argument, and the defendant stated that when they arrived back at the car, he alleged Miss Green hit him in the face, and then he responded by pushing her out of the vehicle, stated that he had no idea how Miss Green developed the laceration, and upon making initial contact, the defendant kept repeating, "Take my ring off, take my ring off." He was wearing a spiked ring, and that ring had, essentially the defendant admitted to hitting Miss Green. She stated that he had pinned her, it sounds like by the neck, for I'm not sure how long, but we have not spoken to her. We would, of course, ask this court sound for her when appropriate, but he did, given the admission here, and also with, he was deemed the primary aggressor, given the condition that Miss Green was in and his admissions. But forgive me if you reviewed this already, that reckless conduct, the unauthorized discharge of firearms, that case, Judge?
Yeah, that was dismissed through PTI just a couple of years, maybe last year.
That was, yes, last year. He completed, pretrial diversion for that, as you're saying. So this is fresh. There hasn't been a cooling off period. We're not sure to what extent the firearm in question was involved, but we are concerned for this victim's safety. State's seeking $5,000 surety, $2,000 for each battery family violence, $1,000 for the simple battery family violence, or the defendant to complete FIB. No further contact with Tiffany Green. Stay away from the victim's residence, wherever she resides. I believe they live together.
Are they married? Because he was referenced as the spouse.
Not to my knowledge, if defense maybe could elaborate, but not to my knowledge. I just know that, according to the warrant, they live together.
Okay.
And, we would ask that you surrender any and all firearms to the sheriff's office and have no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
All right. Tiffany Green, if you're on Zoom and want to chime in, you need to unmute and start your video. Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. He and Miss Green, they had been in a relationship for approximately 3 to 4 years. They had been living together for over a year now. They don't share any children. The apartment is in his name. I did ask Mr. Carson whether or not Miss Green was still residing at the residence. He does believe that she would still be at the residence. I don't believe they have split up. But Mr. Carson is 44 years of age, lifelong Georgia resident. He does have a 19-year-old son. He's completed his GED. Right now, Mr. Carson is unemployed, so he would not be able to make a high bond amount, Your Honor. We would be asking for a bond amount no more than $1,500 total if he's not eligible for a signature bond, just given his lack of finances, and I don't believe he has any additional financial assistance.
Okay. On the count 1, battery family violence, that's going to be a $5,000 surety bond. On count 2, that's going to be a $10,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Count 3 is going to be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 3. His total bond is going to be a $20,000 split bond. His next court date is going to be July 3rd. Once he makes bond, he would need to be monitored through pretrial services and report to pretrial once a week. The conditions of his bond also are as follows. He is not allowed to own, possess, or have any firearms around him. I don't know what's the situation with the Taurus firearm that was retrieved from his vehicle, but if he has any other firearms, they must be surrendered to the authorities for destruction within 72 hours of being released. He must provide pretrial services with a receipt that those firearms have been destroyed by the correct police precinct. Within 30 days of being released, he will enroll in a DBIP program or an FIP program and start the process of taking the 26 classes at his expense without missing or skipping any classes. He would also need to undertake an alcohol and drug evaluation and submit himself to any treatment that's required within 30 days of being released. He's to have, he'll be subject to random screens for alcohol and or illegal drugs by pretrial services. He's not to have any contact with Tiffany Green. If she's residing at the apartment, then he's allowed to go back there one time only to retrieve his belongings with a police officer. And then he must update the court with his new address within 30 days. He's to stay 200 yards away from Miss Green and not communicate with her in any way, form, or manner. No illegal drugs, no alcoholic beverages, no weapons, and no firearms. He's not allowed to wear any kind of jewelry that can be fashioned as a weapon, such as a spiked ring. His next court date is July 3rd. Thank you.
Honor, good afternoon. This is Cesar and ACDC. If Ms. Longhair,
Sorry, ACDC, could you speak up, please? Your audio is going in and out.
they need their rights read here at ACDC.
Okay, got it. Good afternoon. My name is Judge Lal, and we are going to be addressing your cases. Please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. When I address your cases, I will let you know what is your new case number, since all your cases have been formally accused. I will also let you know the charges, to appoint counsel where necessary, and to set a bond. Who do we have first?
Conviction number 10, Miss Langham.
Langham, okay. Octavia Langham is accused of simple battery family violence from June 20th of this year. Accusation 25 CR 3456J. Ms. Langham, you have been advised of your rights, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Bianca Thomas. And this is her first arrest. Mr. Ham?
State's recommendation is a signature bond, no further contact with Labronia Langham, which is the daughter of the defendant. We have not been able to get in contact with Ms. Langham, which is why we're asking for the no further contact, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas?
Yeah, we'll be asking for no further violent contact given the nature of the relationship. They were residing together. She did express to me that the daughter is now residing with the grandmother. She also has three other small children, a 16-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. She's 39 years of age, a Georgia resident, and she is gainfully employed. She works at a warehouse. I forgot the name, but she's been working there for the past 3 years, Your Honor.
Okay.
Given this is her first arrest, we would be asking for the signature bond.
Okay. Bond is set at $2,000. It is a signature bond through pretrial services level 1. No further violent contact with Labronia Langham. She may return to her home, and within 30 days, she will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program and complete all 26 classes at her expense. Make sure that she presents her certificate of completion to pretrial. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. And please report to court when summoned. Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Number 11.
This is Andrew Joshua Levy at the courtroom 2, accused of 2 counts of battery from June 20th of this year. His accusation number is 25 CR 3458J. Mr. Levy, you've been informed of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Correa. And with regards, this is his 3rd arrest. He had a marijuana arrest from 2010 that was dismissed. Any recommendation, Mr. Scirocco?
Yes, Judge. So this, as you heard, took place June 20th, 2025. Law enforcement was dispatched to 255 Preston Oaks Drive in Johns Creek regarding a battery. Upon arrival, spoke with the victims and the defendant's father. They are siblings. Father's name is Richard Levy. He stated that Alexander Levy, who is the victim here, the defendant's brother, came into the residence with multiple bottles of wine, which angered the defendant, and an argument started between them. They tussled, and the defendant took a wine bottle from Alexander and smashed the left side of his head with it, causing substantial physical harm. The defendant left the scene for scratches on his arm. He went to urgent care for that, and the victim remained at the residence with the father, who then called 911. The father had blood on his shirt, and when the officer entered the residence, there was blood spattered on the it says all over the living room floor, with the broken wine bottle glass that they could see on the sofa, and saw as well red wine, puddles of that on the floor. The officer attempted to speak with the victim here, who had what the officer described as a large bloody wound on his head, but he was hostile with police and didn't want to interact with the officer. Basically based on the witness testimony and the physical evidence here, the defendant was determined to be the primary aggressor here, and he was ultimately arrested. We have spoken with the parents of the victim and the defendant, Richard and Fiorella Levy. There was an attempt to speak with Alexander, but he didn't want to speak about the case. Mrs. Levy explained that the victim has a drinking problem. They've been trying to help him, and when the victim came home with alcohol, the defendant was upset. And that's how that started. She does claim that the defendant, she confirmed that the defendant took the bottle and threw it and hit the victim in the head. She did claim, however, it was a small scratch and he didn't need medical attention, which is different from what the officer was saying here. And that she thinks the wine spilled everywhere, made the injury look worse than what it was. But I have faith that law enforcement can distinguish between the two.
Between red wine and red blood? Well, it's pretty
Yeah.
impressive. Okay,
I
thank you.
believe so. It's also sounded like they were in different locations, Judge.
Okay.
And Mr. Levy, when we spoke with him, stated this is not the first time there's been violence between the victim and the defendant, nor is it the first time that police have been called. But it is the first time there's been an arrest. They say they do want the defendant to come back to the residence. We don't think that's a good idea. We think he should probably be staying away for the time being, especially given the recency of this and the fact that we are attempting to upgrade this as an aggravated assault. We haven't heard from the DA's office yet, but that request is pending. Given that and that there have been violent incidents between them in the past, state's asking for $6,000 surety total, $3,000 on each battery charge, anger awareness course, no further contact with Alexander Levy, stay away from the 255 Preston Oaks Drive address in Johns Creek, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. We would sound for Alexander Levy if he is on the line and wishes to speak. And I believe that several family members may be on Zoom, or at least they said they
Well,
wanted.
let's see. Anyone here interested in chiming in for Andrew Levy? This is the time to unmute and start your video.
Your Honor, I would say this is Richard Levy.
All right, sir, lower your device so we can see your face. Otherwise, it's a pretty painting in the background.
Can you see me now?
Nope, lower the device.
Lower the device.
Or like tilt your laptop screen forward.
Yeah.
There we
All
go.
right.
Perfect. Okay.
Oh,
thank you,
okay.
sir.
Thank you.
Please raise your right hand.
Mm-hmm.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
All right, so the prosecutor is asking that Mr. Andrew Levy not be allowed back at the family home and have no contact with Alex Levy. Any comment?
No, it seems like a fair thing, although very difficult to put in place. But we'll obviously have no choice but to work on that.
If Andrew Levy returns to the home, he has to stay 200 yards away from the home at Preston Oaks, and he has to stay 200 yards away from Alex. If he violates those conditions and is discovered by the authorities, his bond will be revoked and he will end up in jail with no bond. So do you still think it's something that's difficult to put in place?
No, not under the circumstances as you've explained them, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Correa?
Your Honor, we would just ask that it be no further violent contact. It seems like the Levy family is undergoing a difficult time with Alexander's substance abuse issues, and that seems to be the root of this issue. As far as Andrew Levy is concerned, he does reside at this address. This is the family home. I don't know if Mr. Levy is welcome to chime in on how he wishes to administer or keep control within his own household, but we would just be asking for that no further violent contact. So that way Mr. Levy isn't essentially put out on the street as a result of this court's order. It looks like Mr. Levy is 35, and per his pretrial report, his last arrest was in 2010 for a misdemeanor amount of marijuana. So I would be asking for a signature bond in this matter.
Mr. Scirocco, according to the accusation, it was listed as the battery domestic violence statute, but it's only written as battery, not battery family violence. So if you intend to pursue this as a battery family violence subject to any upgrades by the district attorney's office, please amend the accusation accordingly, okay? Because it's reflected as battery.
Right, and that's by design, Judge. From my understanding, siblings have been exempted It's
But
designed for
reside in the same
battery, family
household.
violence. Yes, even if they reside in the same household.
Okay. So on the count one, that's going to be a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial services. Count two is going to be a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial services. Mr. Levy, your present bond is going to be a $7,000 signature bond through pretrial services level 2. I think your parents have their arms full in order to address the issues with Alex, and they certainly don't need the drama currently facing them with you. So I'm going to require you to stay away from 255 Preston Oaks Drive in Johns Creek, Georgia. You're allowed a one-time visit with a police officer to retrieve your belongings. Within 30 days of being released on the signature bond, you will update the court with, not yet, we will update the court with a new mailing address, a new residential address in writing with the clerk's office. You will enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released, and you will attend and complete all 26 classes at your expense. Considering that you're over 30 years old, I'm sure you'll be able to obtain your own housing, your own job, and the ability to care for yourself while your parents focus on the issues with Alex Levy. You are also required to stay 200 yards away from Alex Levy and have no contact with him. You're not to communicate with him in person, through a third party, mail, email, phone, or any kind of computer device, and definitely not on social media. If your parents decide that you should have contact with Alex Levy, it's highly recommended they contact the Victim Advocate's Office and get a court order to amend it from no contact to no violent contact. Because I'm not kidding around. If you get arrested again and it finds that you violate the conditions of the contact, then your bond could be revoked to a 0 bond. Did you have anything else to add? Because you do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court can and will be used against you.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand. I would just like to make known to to you as that my brother has mentally ill problems.
That's your parents' problem, not yours.
Understood, but my parents are not capable of handling him when he's drunk.
What happened on June 20th clearly indicates that maybe you don't either.
That's correct. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. But I think my parents need to get him into a rehabilitation center. And that way I can get back on my feet on my own in my own time.
All right, so all conditions still remain in place. You can communicate with your parents, but you can't communicate with your parents in order to pass messages to Alex. But they can come see you. You can't go see them. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Make sure you enroll in those classes and give us your new address, and good luck with your case. So this is a $7,000 signature bond for pretrial level 2 with a DBIP requirement.
Number 17, Mr. Weller.
Felix Weller is accused of 2 counts of simple battery family violence and 1 count of battery family violence from June 12, 2025. Mr. Weller, you've been advised of your rights and your attorney is going to be Ms. Correa. Any priors? It's not by, yeah, sorry. Any priors on Mr. Weller?
Fourth arrest,
Okay.
2020 simple battery, 2016 drugs not in original container, possession of marijuana, 2012 burglary, first offender.
Was there a conviction from the 2020 simple battery?
No, they didn't say.
Yeah, I don't have it. I just have it as an arrest without a disposition, Judge.
All right, sir. And what's your bond recommendation?
Thank you, Judge. So this took place June 12th of this year. Law enforcement responded to 1311 Camelot Drive in South Fulton. It's the Camelot condominiums in reference to a physical altercation. On arrival, they made contact with Miss Darshana Taylor, the victim here or one of them, who explained that the defendant, who's the father of her child, punched her in the face. Miss Taylor stated that she was arguing with the defendant on the staircase in that building when the defendant balled up his right fist and punched her in the mouth. And it's not clear whether, oh, no, it is actually. She was holding their 1-year-old, 1.5 years old, juvenile NW, who, when the defendant followed through with the punch, he also struck her in the face. And before he struck her, the defendant also, according to Miss Taylor, stated, "I'm going to kill you," BITCH. She sustained a laceration to the inside of her lip. And fortunately, Miss juvenile MW didn't have visible injuries, at least, but EMS checked them out. Defendant was not on scene when officers arrived. As you heard, there's that simple battery from 2020, disposition unknown, but not his first violent rodeo. We've called the victim, tried reaching her at multiple numbers listed, but we weren't able to reach her. Who we did reach was the mother of the victim, who stated to us that the defendant is very abusive to the victim and is always beating on her. She stated the defendant does not need to have any contact with the victim. We will continue to make efforts to reach Miss Darshana Taylor. We would nonetheless ask the court sound for her and the mother of Miss Taylor as well, if she's on the line. There's a risk of reoffense here based on what we've heard from the mother, and that he has a prior simple battery case at least. State's asking for a $6,000 total surety, $4,000 on the battery. That's a $3,000 on the battery family violence, and a $1,500 for each of the simple battery family violences. For defendant to complete FFIB, have no further contact with Darshana Taylor, and I would leave it up to the court's discretion as to whether it should be no further contact or no further violent contact with the daughter here. She was struck as well. Stay away from 1311 Camelot Drive in South Fulton, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Thank you. Is there anyone here who would like to, other than Ms. Correa at the present time, anyone else who wants to speak up about the Felix Weller case? You need to unmute and start your video. All right, Ms. Correa?
Yes, Your Honor. We would be asking for a signature bond in this matter. I don't believe that Ms. Taylor's mother's statements are relevant at this time. She wasn't present, and she would have, a certain bias in the situation. I would rather wait to hear directly from Ms. Taylor when it comes to that. Mr. Weller does have an address in Riverdale he could reside at with his mother. However, he is self-employed working in appliance repair and HVAC repair, and so he does do contract work with the Camelot condominium facilities as they undergo a series of repairs and renovations. So we would just be asking for a UJR with no further violent contact in this case, especially given that there would be some custody concerns concerning the child. Thank you, Judge.
On the simple battery, that's going to be a $1,500 surety bond. On the battery family violence is $2,000, and count 3 is $1,000. And the latter two are going to be a signature bond through pretrial level 2. So his total bond is going to be $4,500 split bond. No further contact with Darshana Taylor. No further contact with the minor identified as MW. He needs to stay 200 yards away from both of them and not communicate with them in any way, form, or manner. He's also required to stay away from 1311 Camelot Drive and the entire Camelot condominium complex. So he would need to advise his employer that he cannot be working on the premises pending this case being open. He reports to, once he posts the $1,500 surety bond, he will report to pretrial twice a month. He will file a legitimation action to get joint visitation and joint custody, as well as child support issues with regards to the minor MW. And he'll enroll in a domestic violence intervention program within 30 days of being released. And he will attend and complete all classes at his expense. Next court date will be July 3rd.
Judge, thank you. Could I get the breakdown one more time?
1,500 surety on count 1, 2,000 signature bond, count 2, and 1,000 signature bond to pretrial count 3. The pretrial bond is level 2.
Thank you, Judge.
Number 18 is White.
This is Sean White, accused of reckless conduct from June 20th of this year, accusation 25 CR 3449E. Mr. White, you've been advised of your rights, and your attorney is Ms. Correa. And I understand that this is Mr. White's 9th arrest. He had a theft by shoplifting,
I
and
got first arrest.
this is Sean White.
That's
I've
Whit
heard
you
this.
talking about. His first arrest.
Oh, there are two individuals by name of
No,
White.
it was one last name White. The other was Whit. We already did Whit.
Oh, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. This is his first arrest. In that case, Mr. Scarico, what's your recommendation?
So this took place June 20th. So yesterday, law enforcement responded to 9200 Roberts Drive in Sandy Springs. It's the apartment complex there in reference to a discharge of a firearm. Upon arrival, officer met with 2 individuals, one by the name of Dumarsh Best, Dumarsh Best, and Nico Foster, the victim here. Both of them reported seeing the defendant recording a pool party and that they had been hosting at the apartment complex pool. Mr. Foster remembered being in his office connected to the pool when someone came into his office stating he has a gun. Mr. Foster went out and then saw the defendant in the parking lot area with a black shotgun. The victim and Miss Bess here were standing at some bushes adjacent to the pool area when they saw the defendant fire a shotgun into the air before retreating back into his apartment. They saw the defendant then exit the apartment without the shotgun, get into a U-Haul truck and drive away, at which point he was stopped by another officer. Defendant was Mirandized and questioned about the incident and claimed that he had entered his apartment with leasing office employees following him and insulting him and threatening him. Defendant claimed he felt threatened by the employees at the leasing office and exited his apartment with a shotgun, and that there was a confrontation with those employees. And he alleged that he saw them reach into their waistbands and bags, and after saying they were going to kill him, and then admitted he discharged the firearm. As you know, Judge, we take firearms cases very seriously. This sort of behavior, firing shots in an apartment complex where people live and sleep, is incredibly dangerous. He poses a threat to the community. And so that for that reason, the state's asking for a $5,000 surety. We think an MHET might be appropriate here. No further contact with Nico Foster. Stay away from the apartment complex at 9200 Roberts Drive in Sandy Springs. Surrender any and all firearms to the sheriff's office. And no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. We would ask the court sound for Nico Foster at this time.
Are these individuals members of the leasing office, Best and Foster?
I am not aware of Best's relation with the leasing office, but Nico Foster, I believe, is an employee of that complex.
All right. Is anyone from the condominium complex at Roberts Drive on Zoom? No? All right. Ms. Correa?
Yes, Your Honor. It seems like this case is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. It looks like there may be some other cases out there in which Mr. White is actually the listed victim, where Mr. Nico is the alleged perpetrator. My understanding is that there may also be some dispossessory actions that have already been filed. Just to provide Your Honor with some larger context, Mr. White does have a lawfully leased apartment at this complex. It is the address listed in Odyssey. It looks like they would be different addresses, but the incident location on the warrant is actually the leasing office itself and not the complex in its entirety. We would be asking that Mr. White be allowed to return to his home. That is where he resides with his dog. He has graduated high school. He has attended some college. He has obtained his HVAC certifications, and that is how he is lawfully employed. And that's how, he pays his bills and pays his rent for his apartment at this complex. I understand that there seems to be a lot other legal issues out there floating, and I understand that Your Honor is going to insist on Mr. White surrendering any weapons that he has. But as for the rest of it, we would just be asking for a signature bond in this case, so that way Mr. White can continue working on these pending legal matters.
So, who's got an open pending dispossessory case?
That's what Mr. White has informed me. I'm not quite sure what's happening between him and the corporate office and this apartment complex, but it just seems that there's a lot more behind the scenes than what could be contained in a warrant.
All right. I don't see anything. Let me see.
Are those cases that you're referencing? Do you have any more information about those?
I would need to go speak directly with Mr. White to get copies of everything.
Did you ask if they were in Fulton County?
Well, they would, because there are
Yeah.
there were four dispossessory cases against Nico Foster. All right, here we go. There is an open dispossessory case 25 DD 003600 with regards to this is the River Vista Apartments. Is that the location?
Let me check. I think it might be.
Then there is another countersuit filed by Mr. White against the landlord in State Court 25 EB 006,000. And it's convenient when it's all with Fulton County.
Regardless, Judge, we would nonetheless be asking for the stay away from the complex as a whole. This was,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you. So, Mr. White, I do understand that you have maybe a state civil claim against your landlord, and your landlord has a civil dispossessory case against you. But that is neither here nor there with regards to my ruling on your bond, which is going to be a $3,000 surety bond. No contact with Nico Foster, no contact with Dumarsh Best, and no contact with any of the staff members at the leasing office if they are currently employed. You are to stay away from the entire apartment complex, and you are to vacate your premises within 24 hours of being released. You will update the court with your new mailing address within 30 days of being released on bond. You're not allowed to return to the same apartment complex. You're not allowed to return to your apartment unit after you have returned there one time only with a police officer to remove your belongings. So please understand, it's a $3,000 surety bond to stay away from the entire apartment complex and the folks employed there, including Nico Foster. And you are to vacate your apartment unit at that location within 24 hours. You may return to the location with a police officer to retrieve your belongings, but within 24 hours, you are to vacate the premises and update the court with your new address. Your next court date will be July 3rd. And that concludes, and no illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. So if you currently own or possess any firearms, you shall surrender them to the authorities for destruction. You're not allowed to own a firearm while this case is pending. Thank you.
Number 20, Mr. Wilson.
Albert Wilson's accused of criminal trespass from June 18th of this year, accusation 25 CR 3450C. Mr. Wilson, you've been advised of your rights. Your attorney is Ms. Correa. This is his 9th arrest, 2019 probation violation, 2018 FTA, a identity theft fraud conviction from 2018, and a probation violation from 2004. Mr. Scirocco?
Thank you, Judge. I have that as well, but I see also that he's being held on 2 foreign county holds, one out of South Fulton for failure to appear. That is from May 12th of this year, and the other out of Cherokee County for probation violation. This took place June 18th at the Walmart located at 844 Cleveland Ave in Atlanta. He was previously given a criminal trespass warning in 2024 for shoplifting, and he was observed in the store with some items and was detained there. It was a 3-year ban from the business, I believe, and he violated that. So given the open holds, one of them being for FTA, state's asking for a $1,000 surety, stay away from Walmart at 844 Cleveland Ave, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while on bond.
This will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail with a release to any pending holds, and to stay away from the Walmart at Cleveland Avenue, and to stay away from all Walmart stores in the state of Georgia.
Great, thank you. No objection, Your Honor.
Next case.
Number 9, Joseph. What?
Mohammed Abdul Joseph is accused of, a PI charge, disorderly conduct and willful obstruction of a law enforcement officer from June 20th of 2025, case number 25 CR 003455C. Mr. Joseph, could you please look up and push your hair back so I can make sure that you are the individual I'm addressing? I need to make sure that you match the picture on your booking sheet. All right, okay, thank you. Mr. Joseph has been advised of his rights. His attorney is Ms. Thomas. And with regards to Mr. Joseph, this is his second arrest. He's got a probation violation, a probation hold in Henry County for criminal trespass. Is there a hold there, Mr. Howard?
I'm not sure, but he's on probation in Henry for trespass
Okay.
as of April.
And Mr. Ham?
Your Honor, due to the sensitive nature of this, can we handle this in a breakout room?
I
I'm not sure.
can stop the live stream.
Yes.
Let me see. Everybody else on Zoom is courthouse staff. So, Ms. Lewis, please.